So this is a HEXican review of a project that is yet to be released on Pulse. Now I thought I'd do these reviews because I think it's in my best interest to understand what it is I may or may not want to engage with. Now, I did Power City previously, yet to be released. You know, was it developers take time or something, the saying goes? Now, I will be visiting some imaginable horribles. Now, I know we don't like imaginable horribles. We like to, disregard it as fun. However, some people may benefit from visiting the worst possible scenario. I will just pull up my YouTube channel, just for my own personal benefit, just to see if there is any comments. Now, again, this is not by any means paid for content for Hex, Chain, or otherwise. This is purely out of interest, and I will do another update when these products go online. Now, I guess the first thing to point out around these particulars, mainly LiquidLoans, I do remember something along the lines of, maybe expect it to siphon. If it doesn't, that's cool. That was a long time ago, and things have changed and things like that. But I also remember some of the arguments as to why a particular product should be developed and released first to market. Now, one of those particular arguments was, if you not release first to market, then maybe someone else beat you to it. So far, I'm quite surprised because once the Pulse chain did, release after about 2 years or so, I would have thought there's plenty of time for this imaginable horribles or the people that lurk in the shadows to build such products and beat everyone to market. So that didn't happen. So that's, I guess, a good thing. I guess. So what is it? There's plenty of other content out there, but this is more of a brutally honest, my logic review. So take that for what it is, Or you might prefer people who speak really well but have no factual content to back it, or individuals who are more of a bunch of cheerleaders, yes men, things like that. That can be an issue, especially when it comes to things like not legacy finance business, but things that would resemble money, for example, cryptocurrency. Now, it breaks down here, basically borrow, stake, redeem, earn. The one thing I can't do is because I don't have access to, I could probably launch testnet, but I don't actually have the figures as to your collateral and the amount of collateral that is required. So is there a minimum? I did hear recently somewhere an updated figure, maybe about $2,200 was thrown out there. So in Australia, that's a little bit more. So it's not huge amounts of money to enter in at all by any means. But if you have a collateral into a quote unquote vault, I am curious as to the implications. What happens should, because that to me sounds like you could lose your collateral. I've heard the argument, if you were to put in, say, $1 million and then you get $1 million in loan token, you would want to put in, say, what, 2 million, according to a video saying 200% collateral is good. So if you were to put in 2 million collateral, 200%, get out your 1 million. I think that's how it works. I'm not sure if it's 1 for 1. Assuming the USDL does hold its peg, and assuming also that Pulse maintains its price, the imaginable horribles are as follows. If the price was to keep dropping on you, the argument is, well, you've got your $1 million in USDL, which is the stable equivalent, algorithmic, immutable, etc., etc. Now, if it does drop on you and you were to, say, get liquidated for whatever reason, say you entered into a loan at the Pulse chain price of an all-time high and it pulled back to current prices, I'm not sure if that would have hit liquidation. but your capital may have been affected. I'm not too sure. The theory is it will recover, but if you put in 2 million, it drops down to anywhere under 1 million, and you've got 1 million in USDL. Okay, are you kind of breaking even there? If you need another million to pay back to get your initial 2 million, if you see what I'm saying there. Now, so that's just one thing I thought I'd note. The stake itself is interesting. Again, I'm just curious as to the figures and what it will be like with Pulse chain prices the way they are. PLS plus USDL out, you can see you drop it into a vault. Maybe that was my misunderstanding, that there was a minimum on the stability pool in which you have to, I'm not sure what the transaction will be on chain, to quote unquote stake your Pulse, I'm guessing. Oh, sorry, loan token. Now, again, with the price of Pulse being suppressed somewhat, if it keeps getting suppressed, when you're getting paid out in Pulse, will it be beneficial? What will the rate be? That's what I'd like to see. We can also see here the earn function, which I might have blacked out. Seems to be you put in your USDL, and in return you get your Pulse chain. So, okay, so that's another mechanism to add to the stability pool. Again, then you can redeem, which would be, I guess, paying back your collateral. So if you had 1 million USDL, in theory, you could swap that 1 million back for 1 million Pulse chain. And if the mechanism has moved against you, say Pulse chain has gone down, and you put in 200, you put in 2 million in capital as a collateral, say it moves against you by 101%. So you've got like 99,000, and then you're technically net short 1,000, which is not much, but just saying that's the mechanism that could take place. And I'm not sure what sort of events on chain and what it would look like on chain. So if it's actually a loan, and you did literally liquidate, which meant you sold your Pulse chain at the price of liquidation. That's how I would imagine it plays out. What else? That is about it for that. A very simple breakdown. Again, there's a lot more out there, so everyone's free to debunk my crazy conspiracy theories. However, yeah, I just thought it'd be some logic that needs to be pointed out for my own personal benefit. Like I said, once it does launch, I would be happy to be proven wrong and to see it perform. Now, the other thing, again, you can check out the video, the sacrifice statistics. So I did as everyone does, some mathematics, and I'm not the best at maths, I'm only good at, add, plus, minus, negative, divide, something like that. Multiplication. Now, if you have, let's have a look. So total sacrifice. Now, I couldn't find the reason why this was the sacrifice. So was there a political statement behind it? I'm sure anyone can do some digging on that. We can see it was a total amount of 51 million. I don't know if you'd round that up. Maybe round up to 52 million. I don't know. Say 51 million, right? And then, so that amount, I imagine, was when the hex price, crypto overall, was performing a lot better. So arguably that figure, that amount, has been locked in. Now, once that gets released, it appears you may not get a token called loan. Now, it appears there's 1 billion of them, thereabouts, round down to 1 billion, 1.1. Now, I could be wrong, but according to these figures, based on that, now, just the maths, each loan token should be worth 21,364, based on that. Now, I'm not sure that is correct, but if you times that by, that can't be right. Hang on. let's do some maths live on stream. So if you have 51, that's all right. It's all right. Different. I was wrong. I retract that. Thank God for that, because I was like, oh my God, that's not right. I did the inverse. See, not too good with maths. So the price on that is what it is. So given that, I wonder what the performance of the loan token will be once this pent up energy has been released into the system. Will it go into like back into the system to create more economic energy for Pulse Chain and LiquidLoans overall? It might, maybe the individuals are like HEXicans and they want to support Pulse Chain. Maybe they earned a lot of money and that's why maybe they're able to sacrifice. These are my thoughts here. 9.1 million US dollars. I'm not sure if that was pulled together or what it was. But that's a fair amount of money to be. I'm not sure how that's going to be used. Like, has it already been used? Has it been moved on chain? Or is it just sitting there, similar to, I believe, Hex's Pulse Chain, sacrifice, which was freedom of speech, freedom of movement, freedom to transact, etc., etc. Again, you can look that up. And basically, those coins just sit there and don't move. Now, I'm not so sure with these ones. I haven't looked on chain. So I'm not sure, like, is this 51,000 just going to be purely distributed to the holders of loan token if it ever releases, if and when it ever releases, and then people will be left holding their loan and their Pulse Chain, because Pulse Chain is now out, and then they'll be left to say, well, say I sacrificed 9.5 million, sorry, 9.1 million, I'll be getting 9 million, maybe more. Let's have a look. Actually, we can look estimated. Man, these figures are just fucked. Too many zeros. Breaks the calculators. Now, what do we got? You can see what I'm saying with this. So an individual will have X amount of loan tokens, and how will that perform. I'll let you guys do that because I'm sure you already have done it. So that is all I have to add. I'm trying to figure out how this is positive for the system, because like I said, this is just being me. If I had $9.1 million and I sacrificed it to maybe pushing 3 years ago, and I got back all these loan tokens, and the loan tokens were worth 9.1 million, I have not really made all that much in terms of profits. Now, I'm not sure if trying to think of the sacrifice, and then you basically got free tokens from nowhere. So that's another side issue. But if you were to get those loan tokens, and then what are you going to do with them? Like, is it that you're going to be purest of heart, a beautiful fool, and put it all back into the system so you can get yield on that 9.1 million? Maybe you might do that. Me personally, I might be inclined, to just sell a large portion. But maybe the incentive is there to put the the loan token, back into the system and create some more liquidity pools or mess with the stability pools, borrow, stake, redeem, or earn. So I'm not sure how that will play out. Maybe there will be some benevolence in the system, and that's the point of it. However, if there's not, it could just be someone literally goes to sell their 9.1 million. Maybe they got more based on the loan token valuation. It'll be interesting to see the pools. It'll be interesting to see the liquidity. It'll be interesting to see the return and the figures on these particular stake, redeem, earn protocols. So I'll leave it at that. I'll leave the rest with you and what you think. But as for my stuff, like I said, maybe I missed out on a once in a lifetime opportunity with a sacrifice of $51 million. which I'm not going to say that in T shares or X terms or Pulse chain terms, because yeah, it's just interesting to think about what could have happened. Maybe you sacrificed 9.1 million. Pulse chain comes out. Maybe you sat on the 9.1 million. Maybe yeah, can't really think of too many positive outcomes because say, except for staking locking away, if the price does return, say you sat on stables, and then you got the not the copy of the stables, you got that, but then maybe you took your stables, bridged them over, provided some liquidity in the yield farming, you still would have got wrecked by the performance of Pulse chain, because you'd be holding more Pulse, and as Pulse goes down. Again, though, that's assuming this is only I can only go by current date data. I can't say what's going to happen in the future. That's not what these videos are for. They're purely for looking at what did take place, maybe what you could have done. If you had 9.1 million, you held it in stables, Pulse chain dropped and Pulse X dropped and Hex dropped to what it is now. Maybe you could have taken some of that money and bought a whole lot of Hex, Pulse, or Pulse X. Maybe that would have increased the price of those three tokens. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe you just cash out 9.1 million, just bought some property in Lambos. Who knows? Whatever. But it is what it is. Now, so I'm going to be watching how this 51 million gets deployed. It's going to be very fascinating for this space. Not meant to be an overly negative video, but it is worth looking at these things. How it's going to be used, how it's going to be deployed, what is the actual performance going to be like, what is the numbers going to be like, because I watch from afar. I'm curious. All right, free speech signing out.